LA get their first MLR title with a victory over ATL, 31 points to 17. I watched this game yesterday, being a Monday here in New Zealand, but I'm only getting around to doing the review now on the Tuesday. Yesterday I virtually didn't have a voice left. You can hear my voice if you're used to it. It's a bit different from normal. Picked up some kind of bug from my kids, but either way, I enjoyed the game. I'll go through some of my thoughts on the game, also the MLR season in general. And you guys can let me know your thoughts as well. I thought, nice day, man, beautiful day. The weather seemed to be proper good. There was a really loud crowd. Apparently there's over 7,000 fans there, which I think in MLR history is one of is it second highest in terms of attendance. So good crowd, loud, good weather, and 5 tries in a final is something you can't really argue with. I mean, the conference finals were quite kind of tentative arm wrestle affairs, but this one was started off a little bit that way, but ended up being, a bit more kind of high scoring just overall. It was tentative though, like I mentioned, and neither side could get a lot of momentum. ATL kicked it out on the full, LA were getting knock-ons, so it was kind of hard for any real momentum. I don't think LA was looking for the shots at goal early, but ATL did take their first shot. Kurt Coleman pretty much right out in front. Different tack from LA, puts ATL 3 points up in the final. But a few minutes later, LA kind of switched their tack. You know, it is a final. You don't want to be kind of having the scoreboard chipped away at by the opposition, so they opted for 3 to equalise things. But from about 20 minutes, LA went in front and didn't really look like going back behind. Johnny Ryberg, he's a bit of a big unit. He went over for the first try. A really nice clean break. Matt gets over with an inside ball, and Johnny Ryberg just runs a great angled run. And he goes over for the try virtually untouched. So a great run from him. 10 points to 7, but then he doubles down. He gets the second one like 2 minutes later. It's Gitto again, who's the kind of mastermind. He chips it to Adam Ashley Cooper, old two dads. He takes contact, offloads and tackle to Johnny Ryberg. Ryberg flattens Kurt Coleman. He put in a good effort, but nah, you're not going to stop that man. And they missed the conversion, but it's 15 points to 3. The TMO did have a look to see if Adam Ashley Cooper was onside from the kick, and he was pretty much flat. So, 15-3. And from that point, man, ATL didn't really look like going in front, although they did manage to quite crucially kind of bring it within a score by halftime. Otherwise, it would have been a lot worse. To be fair, they were under a lot of pressure, ATL, for quite a lot of that first half after the kind of 2 tries. Giddo got flattened at one point. ATL won a penalty. They switched tack, I guess, 15-3 down. They opted for touch. They kicked a beautiful touch finder. Like from quite far out, put it exactly 5 meters out. Almost kicked it dead, but no, it was pinpoint accurate. From there, they were actually able to maul it. They got advantage, and they actually went over before the advantage was needed to be called upon. So that was Jansen van Rensburg went over for the try. So at least that kind of made it 15-10. It's back within touching distance, but still obviously, a try behind. Halftime, like LA's got more possession, more territory. The tackle count, ATL's had to make a few more. The lineouts are not going that great for either side. I mean, they're not bad. 5 from 7 for LA and 6 from 7 for ATL. Obviously, you want it to be 90% plus. I guess you can forgive 1 or 2 missed ones here or there. Second half, LA decide to keep the scoreboard ticking over. They get a penalty on 44, 18 points to 10. That's back to a 2-score game, so a little bit more breathing room. And then the moment where I wrote that's possibly game over is when DTH van der Merwe gets a try on 52 minutes. I wrote, looking tough to come back from here as the note. LA mauled it, and 3 phases later, they managed to find some space out wide because 3 phases, they were just able to commit so many ATL defenders, so 25 points to 10. And I wrote, again, surely ATL need to score next. And also wrote that AAC's, that's Adam Ashley Cooper, his legs were starting to cramp up. It is his last game. It was his last game, so good way for him to go out. But, cramping up in the legs is something that happens once you get into his age. 69 minutes, ATL got turned over in their own half, and LA kicked the penalty to make it 28-10, and I wrote, yeah, it's not going to happen. They also kicked another one like on 75 minutes, killing the time, working the clock, and ticking the scoreboard over, so 31-10. ATL, to their credit, didn't give up. They scored a consolation try right before full time was 78 minutes through Deacon. That was just kind of charging over from 2 meters out after a bunch of phases. So credit to ATL for staying in the fight, but LA really just controlled the game. They controlled the clock, controlled the scoreboard, and were never really looking in doubt. As I mentioned, they dominated territory, 55%, possession 55%, more run meters 646 to 474, line breaks 7-1. It's pretty brutal. ATL had to make more tackles, 119 to 101. So yeah, man, congratulations to them. A bunch of those kind of guys, Aussie guys in their 30s will maybe be signing off. AAC has apparently confirmed that's his last game. Matt Giddo, we'll still have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, it was great that these two kind of Titan teams were the ones that met in the final, because they both topped their conferences pretty handily. And yeah, it would have been nice, obviously, if ATL could have kept it a touch more competitive. But, LA at home was always going to be a pretty tough team to beat. But, yeah, it was an entertaining final, as I mentioned. And, overall the season, I only really got on board with the MLR towards the end of the season, which is my own kind of shortcoming. Hopefully next season I can kind of keep an eye on it throughout the season, at least watch a game or two. As long as I don't push myself to kind of definitely watch it on the same weekend as maybe like the Six Nations or something, I'm kind of quite happy to do that during the week. So I think it's quite a good thing for me to see some of these guys who I either wouldn't be seeing in terms of the guys who have left European or whatever competitions, Super Rugby, to go and play in the States, or some of the emerging kind of and established American and Canadian talent. So I think that can only be good for me as well. The commissioner mentioned they've had 99 games played this season, so that's a great effort given the pandemic. I've seen crowds at the games, which is phenomenal. I find the MLR crowds to be pretty loud, despite the fact that they're not they're not tens of thousands of people, but they're definitely very loud, which must be encouraging for the players, and it makes for a better vibe, that's for sure. You got some exciting developments for next year. The Dallas Jackals will be joining in. They were supposed to be in this year, but then didn't quite make it, so better late than never for them. Heineken May is going to be joining in with the Sabercats as Director Rugby, so they're a team which has been, I think they've been around since the establishment, right, but they've never really been a force in the competition, so fingers crossed they can kind of push forward. Hopefully Toronto get to play some games at home. They had the whole season away from home, so yeah, tough on them, but yeah, it's been good. It's been a bit of a shift. We've got a champion other than these guys for the first time, so I'm sure the Giltinis will have a little star above their logo for next season. It'll be interesting to see how they go under a new coach, with their coach joining the Waratahs. So, it's been an interesting season. As I mentioned, I look forward to seeing a bit more MLR next year. Hopefully we can kind of see the game growing. The commissioner also mentioned that the Rugby Network site, which has got all the kind of on-demand games and whatnot, they wanted to have 25,000 people sign up, and they've had 25,000 within the first 8 weeks, and they're closing in on 50,000. So that is great. If you haven't signed up to the Rugby Network, it's a free site, and they got all the games on there, so I would highly recommend it. But anyway, congratulations to the Giltinis once again. I look forward to MLR 2022, and it's been a bit of fun. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game. Sorry about the voice, but I'll talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.